We are breaking the silence. That's you too. And you guys really have been lately. In fact, there's people coming forward all the time. We're getting very interesting emails, and we have John Stillwell, who's going to be here tomorrow. He's going to go in front of our cameras, and he's going to tell his story. He's a retired uh, fire captain, and he's got a long story. He was concerned about it. I said, no problem. We'll break it into 3 parts. So you won't be seeing me telling more stories that have happened to me for a while. That will happen when Yvonne comes up here in about 3 weeks, and she's going to tell her story about her personal experience with the visitors, as well as about her how she got into being a hypnotherapist and got involved. And we're going to talk also. This is going to be a 2-parter as well, because we're going to talk about the Coronado mass abduction that happened during the 90s. The Coronado Hotel, San Diego. I was there. I'm in her book. They called me Sam, and the reason they called me Sam is because my late wife didn't want my real name used back then. So that's going to be a good one, because I've never talked publicly about what happened that night. It was very traumatic and very exciting and very amazing, and that's going to be another show we're going to do. So we got some nice shows coming up. The one this week, of course, or tomorrow or today, boy, I'll get it together, today, in about an hour, is, of course, about a Mill Lab experience. And before I go too much further, Mary's reminding me to say, if you hear this bell, it's because someone here was kind enough to help support us. You all help support us just by being here, but I'm talking about someone contributed some funds to go towards paying for all this. So thank you very much if you do. Yeah, this show today, it was very hard to do. I mean, some of you probably heard me talk about it last night, but I was trying to think of something to do that was a little different than what I've been doing, which is, kind of hard, because you have an experience. Usually you're taken from bed, you're taken to some craft or location, and then it happens again, and you've been taken to some craft or location. Oh, Judy, thank you for the super sticker. God, that's appreciated. Thank you, Judy. And so it can somewhat be monotonous, although each time there are always different things that happen. So I'm looking through my book, but something is there, which you can read on Amazon. You can either buy the hard copy that's got my artwork in it and pictures and stuff, or you can just do the Kindle thing. Either way, I've made no money off that book, tiny bit. And thank you. Boy, you guys are great. Let me put up 2 at once? No. But the book has the entire transcript in it. And the reason I say entire, if I did the entire transcript, it would have been over an hour. And I think with the attention span problems we have today, that maybe people would have watched the whole thing. I know you guys would have, but we're trying to reach people who are on the fence about this subject and show them experiences and perhaps evidence that they really should consider looking into the subject matter much more than they have, because it's very real, as you all know. And this transcript, reading it for the first time in all those years, excuse me, I'm having a nice cup of tea. And for all you Brits, it is, well, I don't think you can see it, but it is cream and sugar, and it's a proper cup. In fact, it's even tea that was sent to me by my friend from England. So good stuff. So I started reading it, and it was upsetting reading it, because I remembered it well. How it happened is I woke up in the morning and I remembered everything, and I wasn't buying it that it was a dream. Not this, not even for a second. I wish I had a tissue. Why is it every time I do this show, my nose runs? Um, and I remembered it. I just remembered everything. I remembered the doctor standing over me, the room, everything about it. But I went to Yvonne anyway because Yvonne wanted to do a session because, she says, we got to do a session on this. This is amazing. And why was it amazing? Because I had evidence. I had a tiny little hole in my forehead that was oozing spinal fluid, that yellow clear stuff. And I didn't mention it in the show. I had meant to, but what happened was I thought about mentioning it and then just forgot. But I went to Roger Lear because I know a lot of people would say, why didn't you go to a doctor or something like that? Well, I thought about that. And I thought it'd be a very bad idea to go to my regular doctor and say, hey, I've got this hole in my head and there's, brain fluid leaking out of it. And well, how did you get that? And I said, well, the aliens got me during the night and they did some kind of surgery on my head. Then he would have thought I was nuts. He would have, I might even been put under observation because they would have thought that I did it to myself somehow. And that would make me real crazy. And then they're going to put me under observation. And all these things went through my head. And I said, I can't go to anyone about this. So I went to Roger Lear. He looked at it and he concluded, yes, you have a hole. And it was very, very fine. But the fluid coming out of it was definitely that fluid. He identified it. He looked at it. And there wasn't really anything anybody could do except to swing at bugs flying in your face. Except let it heal, go home. There was also a needle mark in my, I believe, my left shoulder from where I felt them stab me with something. Let's see what that says. Keep calm and drive a Fiat 124 Spider. A friend of mine gave me that just after I got my lovely old sports car. And that was it. But the fact that there was actually a hole there got a lot of people's attention, and freaked out my wife, and Yvonne wanted to do a session. So we did a session. And then somewhere along the line, I was online one day and I was typing in my name to see what comes up. And this was after I left the scene, and up popped this head wound transcript number 551, subject Steve Neill, by Yvonne Smith. And I guess Yvonne had someone transcribing some of the sessions, and that was one of them. And it was online for the longest time. It's not there anymore, but I got it offline and I copied and pasted it right into the book. So I was able to read it, and it really got me because I could remember everything. But something about reading that, just you're reading it and you're saying, how could I make anything up like this? I mean, the detail that I went into and the stuff that happened, and I knew it was real. And between the physical evidence and the transcript, it was disturbing. So, but we need to put everything out there we can so that people know these things go on. Now, I don't know that it was, a military thing for sure or not. How can I possibly know that? We know how our perspective, what we experience can be manipulated quite easily. So I don't rule out that this wasn't something that they put me through to see how I'd react to such a thing. I mean, you hear about it all the time, TR-3Bs, of government working with aliens and all that stuff. I don't know that any of that's true. I don't. And I don't think anyone else can claim it either. Because where's the hard evidence? Where's the proof? Yeah. But I do know that happened. So, and that's what the show is about. It's a long one. You guys are always saying they're too short. This one's long. It's actually it's like 27 minutes, almost a half hour. So and I cut it down from an hour. And so I had to get in front of a camera and read it and try to keep hold of my emotions. And then for the next 4 days, I had to relive it over and over again every time I did some editing and cut it and put some effects in and make some. So it was a hard one. I'm glad it's past me now and on record, and looking forward to John Stillwell tomorrow, who's going to be talking at the next Ciro support group, which is, I think some of you here are members of Ciro. So he's amazing. Oh, so okay, I did it. Okay, so one of the things that went through my mind was that this has become the biggest support group there is, and I say that because there are other alleged support groups online in various forms and various locations that claim to be. I'm not really claiming. I just feel that we are the biggest because the people who are here, I feel, are very genuine. They're not judgmental. They don't pick on each other, and we don't allow bullies. You know, sometimes a bully will come in here and say, "Your people have no proof and this and that and blah 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 blah," and they go after you. And so, you know, Mary and I have our little finger here on this button. If you've ever seen Battlestar Galactica, the remake, on the airlock, which is where they go. We do not tolerate bullies. So, and therefore, the people we have here are people who know how to work together and share their stories and support each other and show love for one another. And that's what a real support group is all about. And Breaking the Silence has become that. And it wasn't something we planned on, really. We just planned on, we're going to do films and we're going to let people tell their stories without any problems. But then this community built in. We started doing what we're doing right now, and it's quite a wonderful thing. So, thank you all for being here, being part of this big support group we get to have weekly. So, because it helps me too, you know, and I appreciate the encouragement and being told I'm brave and stuff. I don't know that I'm brave. I just feel this is important and it needs to be done, and that's what we're doing. So, yay, no bully zone, huh, Judy? I know. We don't have that here. Isn't it nice? I mean, they'll come in here, but they don't last long. And unfortunately, on some of the other venues that have what they think are support groups or people who have these experiences, they don't do that. Because I've been in them, and then they start throwing rocks at you. Well, you have no proof, and you don't have this, and you don't have that, and da 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 da. And I saw a great one the other day, and I won't say where it happened either. Right, Mary? It said, "Oh, Yvonne Smith and Steve Neill. I used to smoke dope with them. They make all that stuff up." Yeah, that was in an alleged support group online. I won't say where it was. Love that one. That's great. I don't smoke dope. Neither does Yvonne. I did years ago, but not then. So it's amazing what people will say. So what happened with Donna? I'm missing stuff here as I'm babbling on. I mean to watch what you're talking about because it's very important to us. There are lights to attract us. Don't mind me going quiet because I'm just looking through. God, there's so many comments. That's amazing. I'm behind, and forgive me. So how is everybody this fine evening for some and late afternoon for others? And I'm looking forward to driving that Fiat. You're awful, Judy? Oh, okay, I see. You're being quiet on me. This is I've talked enough about. Hey, hi from Scotland. Cheers. Love the UK. Love Scotland. Being married to a Welsh lady for 33 years, I became quite acquainted with the UK and its tea, which is all I drink. I don't drink coffee. I just drink tea, proper cup. Judy says, I'm good. Nothing much going on. Well, that's always a good thing. I mean, as long as you're staying busy and doing things you love to do, I think you're in regards to visitors. So, and since that little trip I had a couple of weeks ago, not much for me either. You're Rachel, you're well and relaxing. This is what I want to hear. And Los Pianos, you were very tired recently. Huh. And so how is it in Scotland? It's about 2 in the morning there now. No, it's yes. 3 in the morning. You're up late. Yeah, let's see. The Welsh are awesome. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Um, she passed away in 2013. Jillian. I mean, that's a Welsh name, is it not, Jillian? You ever see a movie called Local Hero? Love that film. English breakfast for me. Well, that's pretty much a proper cup as well. So, and you can't fool with the Welsh lady. Well, that's certainly true because she requested. That's a kind way of putting it, that I leave the UFO community back in 1999. It's 12:15 here. How did I get that wrong? You're 8 hours ahead, correct? Oh, yes. I wasn't doing the math properly. So it's not that late, not really. But coffee is best. Well, I've never been a coffee person. Love Wales. My family were from there. Love that movie too. Oh, so Rusty, you do remember The Local Hero? It's a wonderful film. If you've never seen it, you all need to see it. Local Hero. Yep. It's I don't know. It's just a great movie. It's a very calm movie. It's a very it's got mermaids in it and all kinds of cool stuff. You have to see it. Not like mermaids with the tail and stuff, but essentially one of the girls there, the cutie pie, was part mermaid or something. What did Ann say? Oh, okay. You guys are talking about pain. Well, okay. I'm 72 and I have my aches and pains. And I don't think much of them. But, after I had my cancer surgery for my bladder and stuff, it took it to a whole new level. But it's healing finally at 9 months, going on 10 months later. And I'm starting to feel like my old self. And so I really don't mind the few little aches on my fingers and things like that. I just don't after what I went through for all that time. I'm just glad to feel good. It's really nice. So, and I'm hoping that's the case for a lot of you too. Oh, may you ask what is my channel about? I was channel surfing and I'm here. Well, our channel is about people who have extraordinary experiences with the paranormal, mainly non-human intelligence and UFOs, in a nutshell. Oh, there's Mark Ware. Hi, Mark. You're welcome. This week's podcast by Mary was about Mark, our friend Mark Ware, who's a pilot, and he was flying corporate and I believe corporate style jet, and um, and a number of passengers, and he and the co-pilot had an encounter with the UFO flying off the wing. And he came forward and broke his silence and told the story. Going through bladder cancer treatment myself, Rusty, really. Um, Hopefully they caught it early. They did with me, but I still have to go back every 3 months for the lovely cystostomy, just to hear the doctor say, "Oh, you look great in there. Everything's fine." And so next time I go back, evidently I'd only have to go back every 6 months because it'll be a year mark or so. But big hug, Mark. Thank you, Donna. I have a similar issue as Anne. Yeah, but we're all okay, right? We're not we're sticking around for a while, you know? People, since I've been a little kid, when I found out that I was going to die, I would say to people, "Well, I want to live forever." And everyone said, "Why? You don't want to live forever. Why would you want to live forever?" And then finally, all these years later, I got the best answer of all, and I got it from Star Trek when Captain Pike was asked the same question. And he said, "Why would I want to live forever? Because I just want to see what happens." Perfect answer. And a good cup of tea. Um, we're on the right side of the dirt. That's correct, Rusty. And I know what you're going through because I've been going through it now, and I had to go in twice because the second time I went in, the first time I went in, they got the cancer. Then I went back for a cystostomy so they could go in and see if it was growing back, but they couldn't get in, which meant I had scar tissue, so they had to go back in for another surgery to remove the scar tissue to be able to look in there to find out everything was fine. And then after that, fortunately, the scar tissue didn't come back, and so that was good. When I comment the live stream pauses, I caught the end of your sentence. Did you say your wife died? I'm sorry, so sorry to hear that. Yes, she did in 2013 from breast cancer. And thank you. I sleep so much I will live forever too. Hmm. Yes, no, death isn't real. That's true. I mean, it's physically it is enough, but there was a video that Jelly found that was a TED talk. We all know they're not biased, and it was banned because this scientist dared to challenge TED and the scientists that their dogma that they shouldn't have in the first place was incorrect. That we are more than our brain, and he made a very good case for it scientifically. It was wonderful, and thank you, Mary, for finding that. I don't know what I said, Donna. What did I say? You're going to incorporate into your conscious life. I guess some of these comments, like this one. Yep, I think if you're awake, you're going to say, "Whoa!" Yeah, the whole thing with the whole bladder cancer thing is, you wonder if somebody's hi there from Ireland. Hello, Ireland. So we got Scotland and Ireland. That's wonderful. Lovely, lovely places to be. Lovely people. We're watching Bodkin. Bodkin, is that how you pronounce it, Mary? Brodkin? No, no, there's no R. Bodkin, which takes place in Ireland. Bodkin, yeah, that's great. We're enjoying that. Uh, I was talking about cancer. Terrible thing to talk about, really. But I wondered if there's not something going on with the visitors. I mean, there were two women that came here with this doctor friend of mine, and one of them was clairvoyant. She says something's with me all the time, nearby, and trying to heal me. And I kind of went in one ear and out the other, but it was kind of eerie too. Um, but back in around 1971, I was in my Alfa Romeo, and I just dropped off my girlfriend, and I was driving down this very windy country road back to my house because we lived on the coast. It was wonderful up there in Pacifica. And, it's 3 in the morning or something like that. And I was going for it. There were no cops, and I had a nice Alfa Romeo sports car, and I was going through those turns at really high rates of speed. And it was just a wonderful night, stars out. And all of a sudden, I see this trail of water going through the apex of this turn. And I'm pushing 80. And I knew it was over because as soon as I hit that water, and I guess it was from the sprinklers, there was an embankment up to one side of me, to my left side, and I was going to the turn to the inside on the right. The Alpha spun out of control, and I did nothing. I just took my hands off the wheel because I knew there wasn't anything I could do. I was sliding around like a hockey puck, and I'm heading right for the guardrail. But the next thing I know, it's like something pushed me up the embankment onto the ice plant. I was talking to Mary about this the other day, and I came to a stop, and I killed the engine, and my 8-track was still playing Stairway to Heaven, and Jimmy Page had just said at the very end the line, "We're taking the Stairway to Heaven," and I just said, maybe I ought to stop driving this fast. But how is it that I was going to go off down into a 1,000-foot drop, but then ended up going backwards? And thinking back on it now, I mean, maybe something was there. I don't know. And maybe something is helping all of us in that way. I don't know. It's nice to think about. I mean, people say there's angels and angels are watching over us, and that's fine. I don't know that they're angels, but if they do things like that, it's certainly angelic. So I wonder how many of us suffer from neurological issues related to extreme stress. I don't know. I'm not having any or have not had any neurological issues, but then again, you do, huh? But then again, the show you're about to see here in a few minutes is, was neurological. They told me that what they did was a good thing and was going to help me, and I got this gut feeling that they did something. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I'm afraid to theorize because all I know is that happened. Okay, Shelby. I had the same Zeppelin 8-track. Yeah, I'll never forget that. The differential from the back of the Alfa Romeo Veloce Spider, as it was called, was literally torn out because when I went backwards up the hill, I caught the edge of the embankment, it pulled it out, and it was sitting down below me. I got out of the car, I moved that out of the road, and I walked back to my girlfriend's house and made a phone call and got a tow truck to come, and they pulled it off the hill, and no cops came by or anything. I fixed the car myself because I did that back then. I was very young and I loved working on my sports cars. And I was driving back to see my girlfriend a few weeks later, and there were 2 lanes going up this mountainous road and 2 lanes coming down, and they were separated by that very embankment. And I looked down and I saw a black Cuda, which is an American sports car, and it was head first into the telephone pole I narrowly missed. And I later found out that the guy was killed. He hit the same water I hit. So maybe that was another warning. I don't know. It didn't stop me. I didn't stop until I got arrested for outrunning a cop. then I then I stopped, sort of, and then I almost got caught again, and I really stopped. So you know, if I was going to race, it had to be on the track. Judy knows about racing, the thrill of it. Um, yeah, we've all done some crazy things, haven't we? But there's something about pushing the edge in flying an airplane or driving a fast car that there's something that just when you're putting your life on the line, it makes you feel so alive. I just can't put it into words. And then when you're all done, you get out and you're all in one piece. There's like this high you get that you will never know, not unless you've done it yourself. So, and it can be addictive, but have I experienced out of body experience? I took the racing is my life. Well, that's yeah, I love it. I race slot cars now, and I drive my Fiat Spider around respectively. That doesn't mean I don't put it through a turn nice and hard, but nothing like I used to. Have I had out of the body experiences? Well, I read Robert Monroe's books, both of them. He might have done more, but the first two. Then I got his tapes, and I practiced his technique. And one night, um, and I got tired of nothing was happening, and I quit. And um, yes, at the apex, Judy. And I rolled over. Just I'm a addict. So I like to sleep sometimes face down on my pillow with another pillow under me. So I rolled over, and as I rolled over, I felt a very odd sensation, a sensation of being weightless, and I like spun. I felt myself spinning inside of myself, if that makes sense. And I remember I opened my eyes, and all I saw was black, and I reached my arm out, and I realized I was reaching through the bed down into somewhere, and it completely freaked me out. And I sat straight up, but I was on my back. So I think that qualified as my getting there. The only other way I may have experienced this is when I sleep, and maybe that's where the flying comes to. Because I remember many times flying and going to the old house I used to live in and things like that, and going inside of it and seeing other people there. And it was really something. So, so we actually have some people here. Uh, they're actually watching this through Facebook. That doesn't happen often. I appreciate you very much being here. Okay, so Judy, you've done that. I have a radio voice, really? You know, it would be better. Eventually, we're going to upgrade this account. I'm not on a free account with StreamYard, but I'm on the intermediate one. And I've heard some of the playback on the recordings, and the this mic is a good microphone, and I have all really good equipment and a mixer and everything, and it sounds very robust and rich, but it doesn't sound so much like that, at least from the recordings I've heard from YouTube. And I think that'll improve when we switch to the next level, which we're going to do shortly. It'll give us more abilities and better sound. It'll be able to be at 2K and instead of 1280 by 720, which is where we're at right now. Because Mary and I both are using really good cameras. We're not using the cameras that come with the laptops, and so we got good equipment. Yeah. But thank you. I had lost lots of dreams flying out of my body and exploring. Well, that's the thing about it. I mean, there's flying dreams and there's flying dreams. I mean, when I have flying dreams, sometimes I'll be in a situation when I'm being chased, and I remember, wait a minute, I can fly. And so I'll fly. And I remember people reaching up at me and wondering how I could do that. And they're trying to get me, and I get higher and higher and higher and higher and higher. I'm assuming those are just dreams. But when I have dreams of like going through my roof and flying over the neighborhood and following the roads to another location, I question those because they may be actual leaving my body dreams. So there's many dream levels. That's true. The astral guide. Thank you. Um, I don't know who this person is, but they're thank you. See, we got one. And now they're out in the vacuum of space being very cold. Or is it as Khan said, and I hear it's very cold in space. Yes, thank you, Astro. I have a recurring dream that I'm getting chased by a station. But every time I shout help, my teeth fall out. Oh boy. That's the scary. I hate those dreams where you look in the mirror at yourself and your teeth, you wiggle your teeth and they fall out of your head. And you wake up like, oh my God. That eventually did happen with me, but I had to get into my 70s before it happened. So I kept most of them. See? So it's amazing what they can do these days. Yeah, that one got me about the teeth. I went and worked for the Academy of Broadcasting. Flying is fun. I squeezed my hands to go higher. Yeah, I even had a pathetic. Have you ever seen mantis looking at these in my dreams? No, but I seem to have some recall of flying underwater and swimming underwater and seeing mantis. I do have that. Um, it's easier if I just do this. As it goes whizzing by. See, it is a common to have a visitation and you can only remember the very beginning, but forget everything else. Yeah, that happens all the time. And that's why people uh, go to people like Amon or Barbara Lamb and other people to see if they can find out more. Because yeah, you will remember the beginning of it, or you'll wake up and have some inkling of it, and then discover physical evidence on yourself, or even in the bed. Um, Sometimes I'll wake up and the covers are off me, and I'm sideways, kind of in the bed, not really, parallel uh, to Mary, and I wonder what that's all about, And sometimes it's on a night that I do remember something, and sometimes, oh, well, thank you, Rusty. Thank you very, very much. There you go. Thank you, Rusty. Um, and so I often wonder what that's all about. And other times, I mean, sometimes I've woken up backwards in bed. Other times I've woken up face down with my legs hanging off, the end of the bed. That hasn't happened in a while. But the other night I did wake up and the covers were off me and I was turned sideways a bit. So it was, I feel okay. I don't feel like anything happened. Well, no, thank you, Rusty. Thank you very much. So Donna, all my experiences except for two were remembering only the beginning and end. So you had a couple where you did remember it all. Lisa, you woke up upside down in bed. Okay, Shelby. Could be. Could be. Every time I hear could be, I think of Eric Idle. A nudge is as good as a wink to a blind bat, mate. Sorry. I had a floating dream once and I woke up next morning on the couch downstairs. Yeah, isn't that something? Or how about you wake up in bed and there's there's like dirt in your bed from walking barefooted in the backyard and you have a memory of it. I've heard that one too, and it happened to me when I was out in front of the house in my night clothes, a t-shirt and pair of underpants on my neighborhood, and then I also found dirt and like uh, lawn shavings, from the lawns being mowed on in my bed. So I'm going to go, but I wish you all. That's going to go away if I don't get it up here. I'm going to wish you all the best. You seem like a great guy. Bye bye, my friend. Thank you so much, and I really appreciate you checking in here. You were just caught us on the fly, and I hope you enjoyed it. And I really appreciate your well wishes. Thank you very much. I have been regressed and kind of nervous about it. Well, of course you are. You're putting your hands. Um, you're putting your life in the hands of someone that maybe you don't know that well, and they're going to put you deep under hypnosis and allow you to reveal things that happened to you. And of course, some of the things you don't remember, so you become afraid of what might come out. So it's not easy. Nice thing about Yvonne is I know her well, and I've half considered having some sessions done again, because going back and looking at some of the things that happened to me, some of them are things we never looked at and went over. But what we did tonight, or depending where you are this afternoon, what you're about to see in 10 minutes or so, um, did happen. And Donna Stevens, yeah, I keep. I feel the same way. I'm scared what I will see, Damon. Yes. Yeah. But then on the other hand, the astral guide, it's their faces when you ah. But then on the other hand, you face up to something and experience it that's buried in your subconscious and is causing you harm in your conscious life, but you don't know what it is. It's a repressed thing, and so I found that facing it and looking at what happened helped me let it go. I could say, okay, that's what it was. It was horrible, but I can let it go. But I have to tell you, I've still, I don't know what they did up here. I don't, and I'm hoping it was just what they said. They wanted to help me, but how do I know that they didn't put something in my brain that they can push a button and terminate me if I talk too much about things I'm not supposed to talk about? That ran through my. That's a fear, and we shouldn't have those fears, but I just don't know. John, I'm so glad you came in here. Thanks for your support and joining us. I wanted to do a regression. There are things locked up in my subconscious that came out in dreams. That's very true. I've talked about that in the shows, and I'm very I'm a believer that happens. There's a lot of evidence to support that it does, because it's in there, and your mind's trying to heal itself. So facing the things that are repressed helps, I believe. Yeah, that's right, Shelby. Vaughn starts off by having me pick a place that I feel comfortable in, and she'll have me be there. And so if things start to go really wrong, she'll immediately put me back there, and it helps calm you. I don't know, Shelby. It might be implants. I don't know. I haven't had my head x-rayed. I mean, how do I explain that to a doctor? It's like, I want to have my head x-rayed. Why? Well, I think aliens put something in my brain. That just sounds so crazy. And so they're not gonna x-ray my head. You're welcome, John. Hubby says I'm guessing implants of some sort. Well, yes, because he had something like that done too. And yeah. Yes, Steve, I think they know where we are and what we're doing at all times. Well, that's certainly true. And I wonder if we're always being listened to. And I hope it's just the visitors and not our own people. I don't know. I don't know. It's disturbing to think that that might be the case. There's not much we can do about it. If they are, I do know that I've managed to make it all the way from the 90s when I first came on the scene, was so public on television with Yvonne, Roger Lear, and Whitley. Um, and then I got all the threats and stuff, and then I shut down, and it seemed to get quiet. But here I'm doing it again. And so far, I had one helicopter orbit the house, and I don't know what that was all about. It was at night, so I couldn't get a good look at it. But it seems to be okay because I'm not trying to reveal anything. I think that would hurt the human race. I'm trying to help human beings who are going through this, and that's really all our intentions are. That's all Mary and I want to do. So, uh, if I had some absolute proof uh, in my hand that I could um, prove that it was all really happening to us, I wouldn't even talk about it. I'd just dump it on the internet. I'd find someone to dump it on the internet so it could be seen by everyone who wanted to see it. Because if I talked about it beforehand, people get their houses broken into and they tear it up and they find things and they take them. So, well, thank you. Uh, it's how do we pronounce your name? Velez. I can get the last name, but it's Joa hyphen O. Thank you very much. Um, thank you. Oh boy, you guys move fast. Thank you very much. But again, if you get absolute proof of something, if you discover something that you can share with all of us that may get their attention and they might try to prevent that from happening, the best thing to do is to just put it on the internet for all to see, because there's not much they can do if that happens. And it's out there and everybody has it. Everybody has a copy of it. Everyone can back it up on their computer. Everybody can print it out. Everybody can see the proof. Even if that's a video, you can download the video and, so, and sure, videos can be, we got it. Can you show that to me again, Mary?
Just lose the super. You did it.
Oh yeah, no, I did that. Yeah. So that's what you do. And if that happened tomorrow, if I had a fingernail from one of the beings, not that they have them, I would make sure that that went into public domain immediately before anybody knew it happened. And I would encourage you to do the same. So, because somebody really trying to keep this stuff secret, and I don't think they should. Not anymore. Wow, thanks for all the likes. Well, we're coming up on 10 minutes before the show, and we got a couple of minutes here. And I want to thank all of you. You're all saying thank you, but I want to thank you. And Mary wants to thank you. And you guys are just amazing. And I think about you all the time. because you're always there even when we're not doing this. You're in the community, you're on Discord, and you're sharing and you're making friends, and it's just really a great thing. It's been needed for a long time, and I didn't even know it, but you did. And thank you so much. 1 minute left. Hugs all around. Hugs back to you, too. Big hugs to all of you. And enjoy the show. If you have a similar experience, please share it with us. If you don't want to be publicly known with your actual name, you can write to Mary, and Mary will put it in a podcast, and you will be anonymous. And a lot of you have done that, and it's become very popular, and people really, Naomi, you're welcome. And it's been very popular, and it's a good way to get your story out and get it off your chest without having your family or your job find out about it. So, Velez, you're so welcome. Tim Baker, tribe, yes, tribe. All right, it is now 10 minutes before I get to go visit the men's room and get ready to watch the show with you and watch your comments. And just want you to know that you're very, very loved by all of us. That means Nova too, our dog. See you guys this week.